Good morning, hello, good day, from wherever you are from. This is another video from Garth from 300 Clan on State 107. Today I specifically want to talk about gold bars. So if you're a free to play player, apologies, this is not going to be aimed at you at all. But I do feel like sometimes some of the content of the game itself is geared towards how to make the free-to-play players' time a lot easier, which is a good thing because games are there to be played and enjoyed. You shouldn't have to plonk money down. If you are going to plonk money down, even if you have a lot of money, you're not going to want to waste said money and use that money wisely. Again, before we continue, this is an opinion piece. You need to do your own maths and your own calculations based off your own budgets. You don't even have to take my advice. You don't even have to agree with it. But another thing is, I'm not a whale. I do not spend a lot of money. I have a fixed budget a month that I normally spend on heroes. I do not spend on packs at all. I do spend treasure a day, heroes, licenses, those additional things. If you're whaling, you're going to have a different budget most probably, and you're going to have a different approach to the events like Gacha Go, Bullseye Bully, Lucky Discounter, all of those things. So there'll be a whaling video somewhere out there, which I think from Devant. So look him up about how best to spend your money. But if, like me, you're preparing for Season 3 and the passes that come with it, and you're trying to budget for what that would be. So if we take on what that was in Season 2, there was 4 weeks of the £10 top-ups that gave you additional tiles. I think it was called Wartime Investment, if I remember rightly. And Season Pass, that would come at £65 UK pound. Plus, you'd also have the weekly 99p bonus things that you'd also had in the season area. I can't remember what they were, different buffs, depending on what they are. Plus, you also have weekly heroes and then heroes equipment. That'd be free heroes at £25 each, then equipment at £25 each. So, excuse me. So what you're looking at, you're looking at £50 per hero, so £150 there, and this is all UK money. So, the game, the developers have an official Discord. So sign up to that anyway, because it's got some cool information in it. It's got a good community around it. It's called Last Z Survival Shooter. Look that up on Discord, and there's a bunch of channels in there depending on where you are. So I need to change mine at the moment. There's lots of stuff about Season 2, but I'm going into Season 3. But there's also, interestingly enough, this Last Z official store, which has grown over the last since it released in August, I think. So a little bit of history. Last Z is a mobile game. It predominantly is an Android and iPhone game, which exists in a walled garden. That means that any transaction that goes through the game, I think, is a 30% cut to either Apple or Google, depending on which service you use. So that's 30% on all of those transactions. And that will change depending on the whims of Apple and Google in their walled garden. So what does that bring to you? Well, personally, I'm a massive open source advocate, so I don't like Apple's and Google's and Facebook's walled garden approach. Especially if you jump into like where Oculus was 15 years ago, where you could play any game on the PC, and now it's sort of being restricted unless you're into Facebook's metaverse more and more and more. It's the same for mobile gaming. You'll have Play Store, or I don't know what the equivalent is in Apple now. But the benefits of that is you have large companies that need to take security seriously. So as a software engineer, I day in, day out have to make sure that the code that I cut is secure. It's not going to cause or open any attack vectors, blah blah blah. And it's the same for Apple and it's the same for Google. So they can't lose face if they have a security incident. So their services are super secure, and there's a level of trust. You trust Apple and you trust Google that they are using your credit cards correctly. They're not storing them. They don't have access to them, and other people can't get access to them. So the encryption levels are good. Blah blah blah. They follow localized policies around PCI compliance and various other bits and pieces. So I trust Google that I've never had any problems with my data with them in terms of my credit card. So that's the trade-off of the walled garden. It's not good for developers. They have to take a 30% cut from their transactions, and especially a game like Last Sea that it makes its money from people spending. They have created their own store.lastsea.com. You can get to that via their Discord. Disclaimer, okay, I would never, ever in a million years tell anybody to click on links and spend money on something that they're not aware of. I've used it, but I don't trust things. And I'll talk about that why in a moment. So before I move on to how you pay, you will find that you will buy gold bars. And these transactions, all of these transactions that go through this system are outside of Apple and are outside of Google. So there are no 30% levies on top of that bill. So you'll get more for your money when you. So when I pay $24.99 here, which is what I'll pay for a hero in game, I'm getting a bonus of 125 gold bars left to then use. So gold bars becomes an in-game currency. So you get more for your money. So the developers are saying, okay, you're trusting us and we'll give you more gold bars than if we sold them inside the game. Which they don't sell gold bars inside the game. This is totally outside the game currency. So you can buy more with that. Is the theory, and I'll come on to it if that's correct in a moment. The website has a redemption guide on what you need to do. I'm not going to show you how to set that up. I follow that. It's pretty simple. One of the things I do not like about this is there's no signing in system. You copy your UUID and then log in. So it's not linked. There's no SSO. There's nothing really. They do not know. They have not confirmed my identity, which I do not like. That's one thing. Another thing, if this is dodgy, which at the moment I've had no bad experiences. Not to say that it is dodgy, and I don't think it is. But if it is, there is two payment options. One is with your debit and credit card. Do not use that. Okay, do not put your debit and credit card into this. You do not know if that's being stored, because this is a Chinese company, I think, or an Asian company. They have different rules and regulations. But in the UK, for example, you're not allowed to. You usually go for a third-party provider that looks like PayPal, for example. That would look after your credit card. They'd store it correctly. They'd delete it if not needed. They wouldn't link it to transactions. There's all sorts of rules and regulations in Europe, at least, around what you can do with that when you put those details in. I would not trust this website with my credit card. Do not put your credit card number in. Google Play, though, and this is links to your Google Play account. So if I clicked on that button, it's not working on this phone at the moment, which is probably not a good demo to do. But if you press that button, that should, what it does, what it has done for me, that links into your Google Play. Oh, what's going on there? into your Google Pay account that is saved on your phone. This means that Apple users probably can't use this unless they use a credit or debit card. Like I said, do not put your credit and debit card into here. You'd be silly to. And yeah, just don't do it. Whereas this is actually hooking into your phone's Google Pay. I don't know, Apple users, you could probably tell me. I don't know if this website has some code in it to say, this is Apple or an iPhone, and then to display either one of those. I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe it's checking the device that you're on, and that shows something to do with Apple. I don't know. They might have done something clever. And then what I will do for the start of season. Well, maybe I haven't worked out the calculations yet. I'd buy £75, or in this case £100 worth of gold bars, and they'll then be associated with my account. And can I show you that? Yes, so in game you'll see like a little gold bar icon below your power, and that will show you how many gold bars you have. And then when you buy packs within game, it then asks you, do you want to reduce your gold bar allowance, which obviously you do. And then that allows you to then use your gold bars. So one of the enticing things, when this first launched, this didn't exist. So when this first launched, like for me, Android points, I'll come on to those in a minute, was of better value than even the 5% increase. But they now have this recharge event where, depending on how much you spend, you'll get free stuff. So if you spend 10,000 gold bars, buy 10,000 gold bars, which is £100 in my oh god, yeah, £100 in my money, I'm gonna get 10 frags, 30 speed ups for construction and research, and 50 spanners. I thought that was 100,000 when I read that. Okay, that's actually pretty good. So if you work out how much that is in packs from Gacha Go keys or whatever you're doing, that's probably quite good value. And there's a recharge event timer there as well. So it could work out that actually this recharge event is a game changer. And then if you get 50,000 points, which is £500, you get 125. And you get a nice little glory crystal. Look at that. That's pretty cool. And how many badges is that? 20,000. That's not a lot, is it? Whereas the wrenches are pretty good. And there's a support icon here as well, which takes you into that horrible thing that we're used to as well. Oh, it's gone. So can I come out of that? Yep. So pretty good. So I would say the recharge event maybe is a game changer. But if you are Google, if you're a Google guy, you will have Play Store, and depending on what region you're in, and the Americans seem to have it a lot better than Europe, by the way. So if you're an American, you've probably got a really good deal here. You have these things called play points. So over the year, depending on how much you spend, you'll get put in a bracket. So it's on gold this year. It's on a lot of gold, and then you'll get things depending on how much you spend. So you'll earn 1.2 play points for every £1 spent, and I'm going up to platinum next year by the looks of it. And then I'll have 1.4 play points for every £1 spent, and then diamond and whatever. And then you use those depending on, and then you accrue them, and then you use them to buy stuff. So if I go to my points, you can then go to play credit and then buy credits. So you'll get, for every 100 points, you'll get £1. So the more you spend, the more points you accrue, depending on which level you are. Now, it will lock in for a whole year. So if I got platinum for next year, it would lock in for the whole of 2026. But if I stop spending money through Play, I'll start to lose those benefits for 2027. So if you're going to be here for a while in game, and you might use this for other things as well. So I use it for my Strava subscription and various other bits and pieces. You could be losing cash. So if I'd lose £100. So at the moment, I get. Can probably see the history. I get for every pound I spend, I get 1.2 points. So I'd lose out on those points by buying the gold bars. I think. Whereas now there is the Google Play payment method in here. I've logged out. That's why it's gone back to dollars. So you need to just be careful that if you're going to switch over to gold bars, because a recharge event, actually, that sounds pretty cool, then you need to then do a little calculation and make sure that you're not losing out anything from your play points. I don't know if Apple does something similar. I haven't had an iPhone since the iPhone 3GS, because they just copy the same thing over and over again, and iWankers seem to just want to buy them over and over. So yeah, do some calculations, figure out what, and get prepared. If you're going to spend, even if you're only going to spend £100 for the whole of season 3, £100 a lot of money. So make sure that you use that wisely. That's my advice. And do not trust this website. Like I said, I have used it, and I'm by no means saying go and use this site. I'm not gonna get commission from the devs, but they are not a European or American company. They don't have to abide by the same rules and regulations as European and American companies do for protecting your data, protecting your card, making sure that even that card is not associated to you as a person, which it shouldn't be because you don't log in. And also the logging in is terrible. So there is no single sign-on. So if you don't know what single sign-on is, if you have a Microsoft account or a Google account or even a Facebook account, when you sign on and you say use Microsoft account or use Google account, that's called a single sign-on process. And there's a bunch of flows that occur in the background, either two-factor authentication. So if you ever have to get a code sent to your phone, that's two-factor authentication, depending on what you're doing. You sort of have that in game when you get a code sent when you log in on a different device, but there is no association with you as a person with your game account, and it's the same with this service. So be careful. Do not put your credit card number in, please, please, please. That's if you're going to listen to anything from me. Use the Google Pay, or if there's an Apple Pay, if it clicks up, use that. And just be careful and do some due diligence on, is this gold bars worth it? Can I will I save money, or are these 50 spanners worth it? If I'm going to go and spend that, I think that's actually made the decision for me. 50 spanners. Another thing to mention, which is feature request I was going to request on their thing, is you can't share it across accounts, which I think is stupid, because technically you're not allowed more than one account. So if you have more than one account and you spend £100 on gold bars, you can't go and transfer those. What I have heard people doing is that they've been topping up other people's accounts for them. Don't do that. That's against the terms of service as well. You'll get they're cracking down hard on that. You'll lose your account. and also for the people topping up other people's accounts, you don't know if that credit card or that Google Pay is safe, and you don't want to be associated to somebody else's account. But, so just be safe. Don't fall for scams. Don't, if you've got in-game friends and they ask you to top up their account, don't do that, regardless if you think you know them. Yeah, there are many scammers out there from many different places. Just be careful. This could potentially is an attack vector that I'm always telling my software engineers to care about. It's definitely here. It's definitely not as safe as if I was to build it in the UK, and possibly developers in the States or any other European country for that matter. So be careful. It looks professional, and in lots of cases it is. And I'm not saying it in any terms that this is. They are trying to scam you, but as you know, it's very difficult to get hold of their support at the best of times. So using a because the thing I will end on is if you make the transaction via your phone, via the Play Store in-app, you will be able to contact Google support and Apple support that are very, very good, and they will refund your transactions if you're having problems. I've had that before. They've been very good. You won't get the same level of service from their support, from the Last Z support. You probably use their support. Everyone's probably used their support and knows how terrible it is. So be really, really careful. Make that decision yourself based off what I'm saying as a professional software engineer. It goes against my my best judgment to use this site. So and as long as you take the appropriate steps to not give them your credit card, use the Google Pay button, which I've used, and it does go through the Google Pay service that will be on your phone, and that is legit. That's not an attack vector, but just be careful. Anyway, if Apple users, if you can comment and tell me if you see a different button on the site, that'd be interesting. And as my sons would say, like, subscribe, and all that jazz. Thank you for listening, and be safe.